Hi, this is Marsha.
And this is Kelly.
We are the two Ewes of Two Ewes Fiber Adventures. Thanks for stopping by.
You'll hear about knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, and just about anything else we can think of as a way to play with string.
We blog and post show notes at twoewesfiberadventures.com.
And we invite you to join our Two Ewes Fiber Adventures group on Ravelry. I'm 100 Projects.
And I am Better in Motion.
We're both on Instagram and Ravelry, and we look forward to meeting you there.
Enjoy the episode. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Marsha.
How are you doing?
I am doing okay. I'm a little bit tired. I had an exercise class this morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did have a little text exchange because you wanted a little support to get so what you were doing was is it like water aerobics or some sort of water pool exercise program?
It's called Aquafit. Yeah, at the Y.
And you had to be there at 8:00 in the morning to get into a cold pool.
Yeah, except it isn't cold.
Oh, that's nice.
It's the indoor pool. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really thinking about it. I didn't really know, but it's the indoor pool, and they keep it really warm because it's shallow. It's like, I don't know, maybe 3.5 feet. It's specifically for water aerobics, and you can walk in it, do walking exercise in it and stuff. So yeah, it was nice and warm.
Well, I'm glad you went. It's gonna take some time to get back into fighting form, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna take some time.
Well, I made a training schedule. I'm on day 2 of my training schedule, and it has this class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'd been avoiding it. I've been wanting to do it, but hadn't ever done it before, and I don't know. I didn't want to be wet in the early morning, and but I made a training schedule that goes all the way through October. And so that schedule, I don't think I ever get above about, I think like 15 or 16 miles per week. But I'm doing the pool 2 days a week, and then I'm walking the rest of the days of the week. I'm hoping that will get me back to a place where I can start half marathon training.
Yeah.
It's funny because none of the pain and none of the problem that I'm working through right now has anything to do with the break. Mm-hmm. It all has to do with being immobile for 4 months.
The atrophied muscles.
Yeah.
Those muscles are screaming.
And stiff ligaments. The physical therapist today, he said, well, maybe it's possible that you did some injury to other joints when you fell. Like the joints in your foot. It's possible that you did injury to the other joints in your foot, not just the part that broke, and that, there's been scar tissue building up over the 4 months. And so that could be a source, also a source of the pain. But he said, it's just nothing has moved, and your foot is not meant to not move. So
yeah. Well, this is not at all the same thing, but I have a lot of sympathy for you because I have done something to my right knee. I don't know what I did. I've not fallen. I've not twisted it that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any trauma to my knee, but it hurts so bad. It's quite swollen, and it's difficult to go upstairs and downstairs. And it's difficult, like when you're sitting to stand up. So I've been taking ibuprofen and icing it.
Oh, good.
A lot. And it actually started feeling, I was actually down, which I'll talk about, but I was down at Seabrook on the Washington coast last week for 4 nights, I guess. 2 full days, I guess, of hanging out with the dog. It actually felt better. I think all that walking I thought would bother it, but so I've tried every day to walk around Green Lake with the dog. It hasn't been every day, and it seems like it's not getting any better. So I am going to bite the bullet and just go to the doctor because I want to rule out that there is not something torn or because remember, and it's funny because we were talking about this earlier, and you asked me if this was the knee that I had surgery on, and I cannot remember. I'm pretty sure it's my right knee that I had the surgery on. I I had that torn meniscus disc that they had to do surgery on. So I don't know if it's related to that. And so because, if you go to the doctor, they're just going to tell you ibuprofen and ice it, right? That's what they're going to tell you to do.
Yeah.
But I just want to rule out that there's not something actually wrong with it.
Right.
But this is nothing compared to what you went through. But I have just the little bit of pain and discomfort that I'm experiencing makes me have a little bit more understanding about what you've gone through. So,
well, and what I have gone through is I think every day about people who have chronic pain or, or their mobility issues are permanent.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're making some progress.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad too.
I think before we start talking about projects, I just want to update people on the meetup at String Theory Yarn and Fiber in Seabrook. So I went down, as I say, I was on the coast just this week. And Jean Chambers, who's the owner of String Theory Yarn Fiber, we had a nice conversation, just finalized the details. So we are going to have a wine and cheese gathering on Friday. And then all day, the shop opens at 10 on Saturday. So we'll just be gathering there to knit. We'll have goodie bags for people. And so there is a link in the show notes and also in the discussion thread, a link just to sign up, just to say that you are going to be there so we can make sure we have enough bags for people. But it's nice. Jean is going to put some things in the bag. We're going to put some things in the bag. And then two of the retailers down there, the woman who owns the Salty Dog, which is a pet store, she's going to put something in the bag.
Nice.
And also, there's another shop down there called Seaworthy Home. It's kind of a gift shop, home store, and she's going to have something for us too. And Jean said she wasn't sure what it's going to be, but something will be in the bag. So, and she's talking to other retailers, so hopefully we'll get some more things. And then we're going to have some door prizes too. Oh, another reason why you have to go, people have to come down there, is that Jean has a new puppy. He is I believe, an English setter.
Yeah.
So he's mostly white. He has black spots on his back, and then his legs and paws are brown spots. He's so cute, and he's got black ears. When he's mature, he'll have, like, what do you call them, Kelly? Feathers, like the long hair on the body and like the legs kind of. And he has like the cutest face. And I did post a picture of him in the discussion thread because he's darling.
Yeah, and I posted it on Instagram when I posted the announcement about the retreat. Yeah, he's so cute.
He's very cute, and he's going to be a big boy. He's going to be big.
Oh my God.
His feet are huge. So yeah, that'd be really fun. Just, if you want to meet a puppy, come down there and meet Cooper because he's darling. And then the other thing is Jean now has two Seabrook colorways of yarn in both fingering and DK. And so there's also a picture of the yarn on the discussion thread. I took a picture. One is called Beach, and it's grays and blues and kind of a dark navy blue and just the natural white color. And it really does look like the beach. Cool. And then the other one is called Sunset, and it looks just like the sunset at the beach. And a skein of beach snuck into my bag. So nice. I'm going to try and cast something on with this. I'm not sure. I was actually thinking I might make a hat is what I've been thinking about. But anyway, so it was fun to see Jean and just finalize the details.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a time for Friday evening?
No, I don't. You know what? I just realized we didn't settle on a time. I'm going to contact her, and I will. I'll post that in the discussion thread.
Okay.
She closes at 6, so it'll be before that, obviously.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so projects. Should we talk projects?
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. Remember last episode I cast on some socks that I'm making for my brother. I've just been working on those. I've done maybe 4 inches of they're just top down socks. I've done 4 inches of the, what would be the ankle. But I sort of work on that when I just need something mindless to work on. And then last episode I talked about how I had unraveled the Nesquin shell
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, I had modified the pattern and I didn't like what I did. So I unraveled the whole thing. The yarn is Debbie Bliss Juliet, which I looked online and it is discontinued. So now I'm getting all kind of panicky about, will I have enough yarn for this project? I think I will. But I'm making the lounging top by Kelly. Who is it by? Can you, do you pronounce it?
Hohi Locatelli.
Thank you.
You need a pronunciation assistance.
Yes, I do. I struggle. Anyway, I have finished the yoke and I have one more row and then I'm going to join the, for the body. In fact, I'm working on it right now, so I'll probably do it. I'll live join the body.
Oh, cool.
So I'm working on that. And it's kind of funny today. I had an appointment and I got there early. So I went to the coffee shop and had something and was sitting there working on the top, and this young hipstery vibe woman comes by and she said, "Oh, what are you working on?" I said, "Oh, I'm making a t-shirt." She said, "I love that yarn. I love that. Oh my, that's so cute." And then I showed her the pattern. She says, "Oh, that's so great." And I'm like, "Oh, I could be a hipster." So someone's totally hipster likes my top. Oh,
nice.
That's just kind of funny. Anyway, and then the other thing I've been working on, I'm almost done, is, do you remember the discussion last episode of the 1898 hat by Christine Burns from the website Seaman's Church Institute Christmas at Sea? And they have a bunch of patterns, and this is the, I'm using Hazel Knits Cadence. It's a worsted weight yarn, and this is the one I was talking about, how the part of the cap that goes over the ears is a double layer of garter stitch. Mm-hmm. And so what you do is you cast on 27 stitches, you knit 12, the next 3 you slip purlwise with the yarn in front, then knit the other 12, turn around, and then just knit across all those stitches. So I don't know what you call that, but it actually makes the fabric fold. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it also creates like a border. And so then you do increases to make a flap, knit for, do some garter stitch for 3 rows or something. And then you start decreasing for that flap. Do that, then you knit all the way around the front of the hat. Do the same thing for the second ear flap. And then join where there was a provisional cast on, you then join.
Okay.
And
so
I realized
it makes the full circle around your ears.
Right. So it's sort of like a sweatband, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. It's just the reason I'm talking about it is I think that it's such an interesting construction. The other thing is when you're the garter stitch part, you slip the first stitch purlwise, which I didn't read that carefully, so probably the first 16 rows I slip the first stitch knitwise. If you slip it purlwise, it creates like a leg or something that because then what you do when you're done making this sort of sweatband, so to speak, and you do the kitchen stitch to join it, then you go with your working yarn and you pick up those 2 legs of the front and back of this folded piece of fabric, and then you pick all that up and go all the way around, and then you just knit, and you just keep doing stockinette knit till you start doing the decreases. So it's such an interesting. So if anybody decides to make the hat, and a few people have, because I think we talked about this in the last episode. Mm-hmm. There's over 4,000 projects, but that's a detail I think that's really important to catch that to do that detail. Otherwise, I think it's harder to pick, because the first 16 rows that I did not do it looks okay, but I think it looks better if I had done it the correct way. It would be
easier to pick up, yeah.
Easier to pick up, yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm almost done. I now have started the decreases, but I started doing the decreases in the car on the way home from the beach. And when you get down to those last 2, it's so fiddly. And I had markers everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm just going to stop this and I'm just going to do it when I get home. So I haven't done it yet because then we had the holiday weekend. So I'm going to finish that tomorrow is my plan. So it's a very cool hat and I've been trying it on. So I think it's going to fit really well. And I think it's going to be perfect. We were talking about it in the last episode. It's going to be going to Antarctica. So
yeah, that's so cool.
I think it's going to, yeah. So I will have to ask the person that it's going to, if she'd please send a picture of her wearing it in Antarctica, and then I can post it so people can see.
That would be really nice.
Yeah. So that's it for me with projects. I don't have anything else going, and nothing finished.
Well, I finished another couple pairs of baby socks I think I'm up to 8 pairs. And I have 2 people that they're going to, so I need to get them split up, get them washed and get them split up so I know who's getting what. One is having a girl and the other is having a boy. So I do have some very girly colors. And then I have some more neutral colors. So I have to kind of figure out who's getting what. But I also have started the crochet swatch for the sweater that I'm planning. The Marianne's cardigan by Trina Bertelsen. It's a crochet yoke, and then the body of the sweater is knit. And I did the swatch for the knitting, and the gauge came out 30 stitches per 4 inches, and the pattern gauge is 29 stitches per 4 inches. It's a really small gauge. So I had to decide what size I was going to make. So I've decided, I think, on which size I'm making, and then I did the crochet chain for the neckline for that size, and it's like, I was sizing up because my gauge is a little tighter than the gauge in the pattern, and I do want some ease. And so anyway, I thought, well, I'll just start the yoke, and then that will be my gauge swatch, my crochet gauge swatch. If it makes a nice neck, then that's good. I'm done. And if it doesn't, I'll rip it out and start again. But the original pattern is for a cardigan. And what I'm making is a pullover. So I'm also not sure if I'd be able to put my head through the crochet part. And then I was also like, okay, how do I close it and just crochet it in the round? I think I could figure that out instead of having the button band in the front. And then I thought, you know what I think I'll do? I think I'll just make it exactly as it's written, the crochet part, with the button band on it. And then that will be in the back. So it'll have 2 buttons in the back on the yoke, and then the rest of the sweater I'll just pick up in the round and knit down. So that way I make sure I can put my head through the neck.
So you're just going to put buttons on the back, decorative buttons? Is that what you're going to do?
I think they'll be, well, in crochet you don't usually make buttonholes because you're just making, it's just like a double crochet button band. So I could, in the end, if it turns out that I can actually put my head through, I could just put the buttons on decoratively and have that be the back. But I was thinking, you know how you, actually it could be in the front. You know those sweaters that you have the buttons in the back, a couple of buttons in the back to, like, so it opens up and you can put your head through, but then.
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I've never seen, that's a thing.
I had a sweater like that a long time ago. Yeah.
Huh.
It was kind of, it had a split in the back, and then it had a button.
Oh, okay. I've had blouses that way, like a shell or I've had blouse that way, but never
okay.
I don't think I've ever had a sweater like that. But anyway, I guess what I'm confused at, this is actually a cardigan. The original pattern is a cardigan, but you're going to make it a pullover. So why would the band be in the back? Because
it's not.
Well, here's my real question. My real question is, does the yoke have a definite front and back? So like
no.
the shirt that I'm working on now, okay, you do, okay.
No.
So, okay.
It's just
okay.
like a, yeah. And I could just make it, except I'm not as good. I don't have as much experience with crochet. So I'm not as good at, like in knitting, I could oh, okay, well, I know what to do. I know how to make something that's knit flat into a circle, right? You just join with your double pointed needles, and you might add a couple stitches just to make sure you have, enough to account for taking off the button band, and you just go. All right, so that's fine, knitting. But I suddenly realized when I was crocheting, it says get to the end, do this, and turn. Like, okay, well, how would I do that if I was doing that in the round? You know what I mean? I'm knitting, I'm crocheting across, I'm doing something on the edge and turning and going back the same direction, or going back the other direction. I'm not sure how I would make that round. And the day I was thinking about it, I just thought, you know what? I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to make the yoke as it is. And then pick up in the round from there and knit in a tube.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have a yoke with buttons, but the rest of my sweater won't have buttons. You're sounding like that doesn't sound like a good idea.
It's well, my dead silence. But this is bad podcasting, dead silence, as I'm processing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, okay. Let me... I'm speechless.
So I'm just picturing like these really dainty little pearl buttons on the back of my neck in this little lacy crochet.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the sweater.
Yeah. I think it's fine. No. I'm sorry. Here's the reason why
that is a ringing endorsement right there, people.
No, here's the real reason why I'm so kind of like, I don't know enough about crocheting. I mean, I can crochet a pot holder. I can crochet. I did that shawl, but I don't know enough about crochet garments and structure to know. Because I guess what I'm not, and again, because I don't know enough about crochet, why can't you just have the pattern go across where you're going to have the button band? Why can't it just be pattern? Why do you have to put in this band?
It could, well, because that's where your buttonholes are.
But you don't need buttons because it's a pullover.
Well, first of all,
but are you good planning on having...
I don't know if it's going to be big enough for me to put my head in.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I understand. Wait a minute. Let me repeat this to make sure I understand. Are you thinking that the yoke is just going to have a button band on the yoke?
Yes.
That you'll actually open and close it so it'll fit over your head pot if that's an issue.
Yes.
And then it'll just be stockinette
from
all
there
the way
down. It will
down.
Be a tube.
Okay, I'm understanding now.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Do that. That makes sense. And it'll be a detail, and it may be solved to a problem, because if you are concerned about it going over your head, it will solve that problem.
Yeah.
And you get to use buttons from your stash.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that as a plus.
It's
but
a
you're
win-win-win all the way around.
Yes. And I don't have to figure out how to crochet something that's supposed to be crocheted flat in the round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Saves me from having to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I did chart the pattern. Well, I haven't charted it all. I charted the first few rows so I could see if I understood it. So I took the written instructions, which I'm terrible at written instructions. I do not follow them very well because I think I don't read every word. Like I'm used to regular reading where I don't, Robert always says, well, how do you read so fast? And he said, I feel like I have to read every word. I can't skip anything. And I said, I just, I see whole big parts of the sentence all at once, right? When I'm reading, I don't read every word when I'm reading. And I think I do that when I read crochet patterns. I know I do it when I read knitting patterns. And then I have to go back and force myself to
Yeah, and then I get into
focus.
trouble. I get into trouble when I.
And so I had I knew I was going to have that same issue with the crochet. Plus, I'm not a good enough crocheter, experienced enough crocheter to be able to visualize what the pattern is while I'm reading it. I mean, I can barely do that with knitting. I'm better than I was, but with crochet, I really don't have enough experience to do that. Plus, I'm really uncertain about the edges. You get to the end and then it says chain 3, turn. This counts as the first double crochet or something like that. It's like, okay, whatever, but I don't know what you mean. I'll do it, but I have no idea what you just said or why you just said it. And then, but when I read a chart, and I've done quite a few crochet patterns that have charts, when I read a chart, it's like I understand it. It's like, oh, okay, this is the side of one of the stitches and it comes around and it makes the other stitch. It just... Visually, it makes much more sense than it does in words for me.
Yeah.
It's the difference between, I think, when I go on Google to get directions, Google Maps or MapQuest or any of those map things to get directions, I do not get directions. I get the map. And I want to see what the streets are that are around me and how this road I'm going to be on. goes along with the other streets, where it is in its, surroundings. I don't want to just blindly, to me it feels blind to just say turn left here, turn right there.
I agree.
And so because of that, I think that same way of thinking is what makes it so that when I do a pattern, I have a much easier time with the chart, where I can see the row before and the row after and all the rows around.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a horrible time with written directions, keeping track of where I am and all that.
I agree. Yeah, I have a hard time.
So anyway, I charted it out, which was good because it helped me kind of orient myself to the pattern. It also made it easier to crochet. So I'm about 4 or 5 rounds into the yoke, which is not that many rounds. I think I probably have another maybe 8 rounds before I'm finished with the yoke. And I think in another couple of rounds, I'll be able to see if it's going to be big enough, if it's going to be the right size or not. So, because I want to make sure it's not going to fall off my shoulders. Anyway, I'm really excited about this pattern. I
know. I love the idea of combining crochet and knit.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. I love the lace detail. It's just really, I don't know, it's really, really nice. So, and it only has 6 projects. And of the 6 projects, it looks like only 1 is finished. Only 1 finished project besides the pattern project. I mean, people could have made it and not put that they were finished in their project page.
It's not on your project page though, is it?
Because I haven't started.
Okay.
I'm just watching at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, there's only 1, and she made hers long sleeved. The one who's finished. And then somebody else mentioned to me, "Oh, I really like that. Maybe I'll make it." It's like, okay, well, that will be number 7 and 8. It's kind of cool. I kind of like the idea of making a project that doesn't have very many.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Yeah, I really like it. I've looked at it a couple of different times. It came out in April, and I think I might have seen it like back sometime when it first came out. And then when I was searching on my gauge, it popped up again. I thought, okay, this has popped up now twice. I need to make this. This is really cute. So, but I haven't started yet. But that's it. That's all my project pages.
Okay. So Kelly, what we have to talk about now, and I'm really excited about this, is our Knot Along contest.
Yeah.
Finished up on, was that Friday?
I don't know, the 31st? Whatever day that was.
Friday.
Was that Friday?
Oh, yes, it was. It was Friday. How can I forget? Because I was running around trying to finish my Knot Along.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, Marsha. You did your curtains, taking them apart, and you did the beeswax wraps.
I know, and it was down to the wire on the beeswax wraps. And my brother had come by and was standing there, as he does, talking. And I said, "You need to go." Which is a little, Kelly, that's a little out of character for me.
Right.
I was like, okay, you need to go now because I have to finish these beeswax wraps. So, and I wasn't sure how long it was going to take. So
they turned out really cute.
Yeah. And so
let me just ask you about the amount of wax you had.
So I used up all the wax that you gave me.
And how many wraps did you make?
I had, so Kristen, later knitter, gave me the fabric, and it looks like they were maybe half yard pieces. What is that? And like that, was that 45 inches?
Yeah.
So I got 3 big ones, the size that'll go over a mixing bowl.
Okay.
And then I think 4 small ones, and then the rest of it I just cut up into squares. So I probably have 8 squares.
Okay. So
just figuring the math, they basically did 3 half yard pieces of fabric.
Okay.
And
about 45 inch 45-inch wide fabric, half yard. Okay. And Amy Greenhook, she did some, and she said she got 12 to 14 out of the 4 ounces. The wax, the batch of wax is 4 ounces. So I was just curious to make sure, like, how many can you make out of 4 ounces of wax?
Yeah.
I'd read about how much people were using, but I was kind of unsure about exactly how much.
And I'm not 100. Well, so the other thing, and this is not the beeswax wraps, but my iron is set. I went back and I watched a YouTube video about them, and it does say you don't want to have it on the steam setting. You don't want any moisture going in there. But this iron that I have is just an old iron that I think my brother picked up at the Goodwill. So there's no temperature setting on it. It's just there's one setting says no steam, and then the other settings is for like a lot of steam, a little less steam, and a tiny amount of steam. But there's nothing that you can say, I want steam, or like turn steam on or off, and then select a temperature. So like the my other iron that I have at the other house, it actually says like silk, cotton, wool blends. So the reason I bring this up is because it's on the no steam setting. I don't think it was very hot.
Oh,
or maybe I didn't put enough wax on, but I had a hard time getting the wax to penetrate all of penetrate the fabric.
It might
so
not have been
curious
warm enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious to try it again, because these will, stop. They will kind of wear out. They'll lose their I don't know.
The wax kind of wears off.
So the next time I'm going to use a different iron. I'll get my other iron and try that where I can actually select the temperature.
Yeah, because it doesn't take a lot of heat to melt beeswax, but it can't be just a barely warm iron.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I think they turned out fine, and I've been using them. I've got one. I made a salad the other night, and I got it ready and just put one of the beeswax wraps on the bowl, and it stayed on.
And did you use any pine resin?
I did not.
Okay.
It said to also put a little of that jojoba.
And did you use that?
Yeah.
And so it sticks.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to make some. I don't have any fabric. I need to go. Well, okay, that's not true. I don't have any fabric I can use for that particular project. Oh my gosh! Speaking of fabric, sorry, this is a tangent, but we'll get back to the nod along in a second. But I saw on my Instagram today, Houston Textiles now has a wool that is the Lonnie's Lana wool warp, which is that climate beneficial. I mean, that's the original fabric that the Fiber Shed had made by Houston, was with her wool. Same wool that we have in our shop, but much, much finer. For a woven fabric, okay, that's very loud traffic going by there. I'm in the trailer because of painting in the house. Anyway,
I can't. I just so you know, I can't hear anything.
Well, I can see it on my recording software.
Okay.
And now the trailer window is shimmering. So anyway, Jacob Weft from Meridian Jacobs here in California. That is so appealing, that fabric. I haven't gone, I just looked at it in Instagram. I haven't gone and looked at it on the website because I know when I go to the website, I'm going to need to buy some. I have to sew some of the fabric I have before I buy any more. Anyway, back to my original question about I just wanted to know how much wax, how far that wax actually goes, and whether you needed the pine resin. It sounds like you don't. You can just use the oil.
It might be better with it, but I ended up not. Honestly, I don't know why. I think the real reason why I didn't put it on there is I was under the wire. Not under the wire, down to the wire to try and get these done. And I thought, I'm just going to do it this way. I really think I could probably just add it in now. I mean, it's like you can actually just keep reusing the fabrics. Somewhere I said that once they wear out, you just put them in the compost pile. But then when we had the little class, the little demonstration at the Knockers retreat, Monica, who taught us how to do them, she said you just kind of keep applying more beeswax.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess eventually the fabric might wear out, but
Yeah. I would say beeswax wraps about the knot-along. A number of people made beeswax wraps.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people did them.
It was good. It was a good idea.
Yeah. So I think though, I think we need to talk about some of the things that people made. Because I was just so, let's just talk about some of them. So the one that really stood out to me was Granny's Squared. And she made pottery from clay that she dug up.
Yeah, that was amazing. I never even thought of doing that.
No, I never would have thought of it. I don't know if she's in Maine. I can't remember now, but the clay was from Maine, and she went out and she dug it up, and she made a coil technique and fired it, and she just fired it. It sounds like she just got wood and built a fire and put it in the fire and fired it that way.
Yeah, there's a class that they do at Hartnell, a raku class, where you dig a pit and they put in like pine needles and different things and fire the clay that way. And it sounds like that's kind of what she did.
Then the other one that stood out to me also was Colton Fiber Lady, and she reupholstered her dining room chairs.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But she used hand-spun, hand-dyed, and hand-woven fabric. That I'm impressed. I have to say.
I know.
And then she also made a Pendleton jacket that it's the 49er. Yeah, that's what it's called, the 49er jacket, which I've always wanted to buy one of those, but there's a pattern that you can make it, so that's kind of cool. And she also did some made cushions for patio furniture, but that hand-spun, hand-dyed, hand-woven fabric for her dining room chairs was very impressive.
That is cool, yeah.
And then, C Note, she learned to sew, and she made a tote bag. Tabitha Knits, she did a watercolor portrait of a blue-faced Leicester sheep.
Yeah, that was very cool. I was just impressed with all of the different, like, the wide variety of projects that people chose and the things that they know how to do or learned how to do. That was just so fun to see this wide variety. As I know, not everybody who listens goes on Ravelry to the discussion boards, but I'll put the link to the discussion thread, the finished objects thread. It's really worth it. You should go and take a look. Click on the link and go take a look at all these different projects. It was really inspiring.
And there was a lot of felting. So Joanne Carroll did a duck. Is it Nikolic? Am I pronouncing that right? She did an otter. Green Hook did a turtle.
Oh yeah.
I think I might be missing some.
There was a hedgehog.
Yes, a hedgehog. So a lot of felting. Those were darling. What else did I want to mention?
And the hedgehog was Granny Squared, I think.
Someone made a bookbinding. There's cross stitch, Out of This World, and how do you? I think it looks like it's Shashiko mending, but. For her son had some ripped jeans and she mended them, but doing all this fancy needlework on it. It's very, very pretty.
Yeah, it's a nice technique.
Yeah, and I think we had 3 listeners did null binding.
I'm not sure if it's null binding or null binding.
Null binding.
It's a Scandinavian needlecraft, and they do it with a needle, and I think you make your own needle. I know, I think Terry Holiday, she's actually made her needle. And I mean, I'm not sure if you can buy a needle already made, or if part of when you learn to do it, you learn to make a needle.
You make
But it's really cool. She did it, and then also Allison here, she did mittens. And then Jude 22, she did null binding, and she posted, and it was she made a little flower with a little button for the center, and she said, I don't want to do this again. And this is it. I'm making this one thing. And then she also put she had a finished quilt top that she had as her project that she put in. But yeah, 3 different null binding projects. I was joking that I think that might be trending for 2019. Hashtag null-bending.
Yeah. Yeah. Aurora Rose Creates.
Yeah, Alyssa.
She made her very first dress, and it's darling, and it's very cute.
Yeah, it looks
and
really good on her.
Really well.
Yeah.
It looks good, yeah.
There was a book cover that was made by Texas Midwife that had a really cute bee on it. Mm-hmm. And then Jill Maybellina, she's actually part of the reason we had this. She's kind of the inspiration for the Knot Along, because I had talked about punch needle and she wanted to do punch needle too. And so she messaged me and she said, we should do a little along together so we can both get our punch needle projects done. And that was sort of the inspiration for having the Knot Along. And so she did 2 punch needle projects, one of which she sewed. It was a really cute idea. She took a tote bag, like a canvas tote bag, and she sewed her punch needle project onto the side of it. And it looked like it was one of those ones, and I think she said this too in her post, it was like one you get from somewhere, and it might even have a logo. Mm-hmm. But she just put the punch needle over the logo, and now she has a really cute canvas bag, canvas tote. So, and then she made another one that was that she hasn't attached to anything yet. So, Creative Lady 1, she made rag rugs. Mm-hmm. I think she was the one who posted originally too about the pliche, that technique that you couldn't find.
Infamous pliche that I now have the supplies, but I don't know how to actually do it. I can't find a video how to do it.
Yeah, nobody knows how to do it.
Yeah.
RT Meow made soap. I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. And then Terry Bam 50, she did a macrame. And actually, I've been using the hashtag Knot Along on Instagram when I posted my quilt top and my punch needle. And it's mostly crochet. It's mostly macrame. Mm-hmm. That hashtag is mostly macrame. Oh, and did you see the little kids' pajamas? So cute. Those are by Smoten. Those are really cute. A lot of sewing. I was inspired. I was really inspired by the sewing. And now that my foot is back, I can actually control the little pedal on my sewing machine. Maybe I should get busy.
Yes, and I've been sort of inspired to sew, and I will talk about sewing in a little bit too on our next topic. But I think what we need to do, Kelly, is we need to draw our winners.
Let's draw our winners.
So
okay,
and I won't do a drum roll on the desk like I normally do because that screws up the recording.
Yeah, right. Okay, so our first one, let's do the random number generator. Our first winner is number 22, and let's see, that's Mary, Knit Admin. She made a pin cushion. And so, Mary, what you're winning is a skein of Bay Street Yarns, John Henry. It's a superwash merino wool and nylon, and the colorway is Mercury Retrograde. And this was made as a commemoration is not the right word. It was a fundraiser, and it was colorway for a fundraiser for the fires last year in California, the Redding fire. And it's got red and black and a little bit of teal, and it's just a very fiery skein of yarn. So, and then congratulations, Mary. Mary made a darling embroidered pin cushion. Oh my gosh, very, very cute.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next winner is number 28. Okay, let's see who's that. That's Alyssa. Aurora Rose Creates.
Oh, nice.
And she's getting the skein of Bay Street Yarns Paradise Lost. And this was, again, a fundraiser for the Paradise Fire last year. And it's a turquoise and green and pink skein. It does sort of look like a tropical paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Very pretty skein by Bay Street Yarns. And then our third winner is going to be winning a gradient. This gradient was donated by Dagmar, and she's been a longtime listener and friend of ours. And this is a Duran Dye Works Luscious Fingering. So it's merino, 80% merino, 20% silk, and it's 600 yards. And it's
that's a lot of yardage.
Yeah, and it's a gradient that goes from red to light red to pink to a real pale, almost like champagne blush color. And so let's see, that is number 30. And that is Hockey Rachel.
Ooh, nice.
So congratulations, Rachel.
Well, congratulations to everybody. And it was a really fun contest just to see what everybody did. So creative, such a wide range of projects and ideas. And it was super fun. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed also the chat thread. One of the people who was probably most active in the chat thread, Max and Cats, she did a needlepoint Santa, but she was always in there, always encouraging people, always talking about something else that we could try or that she was thinking about. And there was just a lot of good chat in that thread. And I really appreciate everybody's participation. It was one of the most fun alongs that we've done. I really enjoyed it. And somebody, now I can't remember who, mentioned that they wanted to do it but couldn't this year, and they hoped we do it again next year. And I think we probably will, because it really was fun. And it's nice to take, much as I love knitting, it's nice to take a little break and focus on some other areas of talent.
Yeah. And I got things done. I mean, I had those curtains have been weighing on my mind, those chairs and everything been weighing on my mind. So
yeah, you did a lot, not just the beeswax wraps and the curtains, but you got your chairs covered too. Yeah, no, it was a good way for a lot of people, I think, to get stuff. I got a quilt top that I've had for since high school. So that, it was very good. Got a lot of stuff done. So, and then the other thing that has been really kind of fun is the discussion thread for the last episode.
Yes, we have to talk about this. Just to remind people, the discussion topic was closures, right? So putting a zipper in a sweater, and then also button bands. Like, how do you prevent them from gaping? It was interesting to get the feedback from listeners in the discussion thread. So let's just talk about that, Kelly. So putting ribbon is what we were talking about. Putting grosgrain ribbon on the button band, on the back of the button band, and the back of the buttonhole band. And it was Pat, data knitter.
Because I was thinking of the buttonholes being horizontal for some reason.
When they typically are, they can't be, right? If you have
most of the time, no. I don't know what I don't know. But I for the longest time, I've had this problem thinking, how do you put the ribbon on the buttonhole side? Because you've got all these little sections between the buttonholes. Anyway, yes, Pat was great because she gave us the solution.
So what she does, she gets two thicknesses of grosgrain ribbon, right? So the wider one goes on the back of the button band, and then two narrow ones go on the back of the buttonhole band on either side of the buttonholes. Brilliant.
Yes.
And then several people talked about that. Nitty Barb, I think, commented on that.
We got a message in email from Suzanne, who's Blue Dog Threads, and she talked about the same thing. So yeah.
And then Weaver Ann, and this I just respond to her that I do think this is brilliant. Is one of the comments is it's difficult sometimes to find grosgrain ribbon that you like. And I think, well, I know in Seattle, the Pacific Fabrics that one of the Pacific Fabrics that was closest to me has closed. And there was also up on Queen Anne Hill, there was a great fabric button ribbon store called Nancy's Sewing Basket, and it closed a while ago. And that's where I usually would go there to get buttons for my sweaters. Mm-hmm. So we're losing places to get grosgrain ribbon. Right. And so what Weaver Ann said is that if she can't find, she likes to embellish it. So instead of just having plain grosgrain ribbon on the back, she runs it through her sewing machine that can do all kinds of embroidery. And she does her own little patterns on it. And I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, well, and did you see the one? It says, if you're cold, put on a sweater. Mm-hmm. Very cute. Yeah, so the back of her button band has the grosgrain ribbon with the stitching on it. Uh-huh. It's very cute, yeah.
What else? Anything else we need to say about the ribbon?
Well, Robbie, not so much about the ribbon, but Robbie, Boxy Sweater Gal, she talked about the non-negotiable button. Uh-huh. And that you have to place your buttons strategically. So she says, if you want to avoid gaping, you need to place a button at your bust apex. Mm-hmm. This may mean that you have to tweak the spacing above and below that button. Mm-hmm. If the spacing difference is minimal, no one will notice because they'll be looking at the overall sweater. And then you just kind of adjust. You might have to remove a button or add a button to adjust the spacing. But that one button has to be in that one spot, she says, mm-hmm. for it to be non-gaping.
Yeah.
So that, I think, would help, too. Mm-hmm. The zipper mm-hmm. question, Suzanne, Blue Dog Threads, she said she also likes to put a zipper that's a little bit smaller. So she'll start the zipper like an inch above the bottom of the sweater. And then it doesn't have to go all the way to the top of the sweater if you can't find a zipper that's the right size. So that might be a good solution for me instead of making my sweater mm-hmm. the size to fit the zipper. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there were a lot of good comments there. Mm-hmm. I do like the embellished ribbon that Anne makes. That's really cute. So you're going to go back and redo your
I think I may. Because I have a couple cardigans that I've made that I don't wear. Because I don't like mm-hmm. the look of them buttoned up. And
so, I'm thinking of our next along. Oh. like fix it or
fix it along.
Fix it or nix it.
Fix it or nix it along.
Yeah. If you don't,
well, I guess I've already started it because I've unraveled my T-shirt and I'm making another T-shirt.
That's true. Yeah. Well, that's good. You're ahead. You should say yes to this. You're already going on this along. You should vote yes.
That's funny. Fix it or nix it. Fix it or nix it along. Huh. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I did the Little Wave. I think I talked about this before, but I did a Little Wave mm-hmm. by Gudrun Johnson. And I like the sweater. I like the fabric and everything, but I don't like the way it looks on me. It's very unflattering the way it... And I made it...
Just the gaping is unflattering.
Yeah, the gaping is unflattering.
Nothing else.
Yeah, no, otherwise it's just kind of the gaping, and I don't... And it's not like it's too small.
No.
So it's just yeah. Well, we had a whole discussion. We had a whole podcast episode about it. We don't need to talk about it again. But I have at least 2 sweaters I'm going to do it to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I have the one sweater that I have to fix, that I have to put a button band on, and the buttons are falling off, and I have to reattach mm-hmm. the buttons. And just in thinking about if you don't fix it, what would you do with it? What would you do with the sweater if you didn't fix it? Would you just keep it in your drawer and not wear it? Or would you move it along to the next part of its life? Or like the Nesquin shell you just unraveled and you're starting another one. I'm trying to think if I have anything that I don't wear that I need to either fix or...
Well, I have another. I made a...
D-stash.
I don't even remember the name of it, but I made it out of that Kobasi, the cotton yarn. And it's like a little summer shell, or not shell, it's a little summer cardigan with kind of shorter sleeves. There's no buttons or buttonholes, but it flops open all the time. There's no way to wear it that doesn't just flop. And I don't know. So that one, I don't know that putting ribbon on it would help. But I think I might just reknit it. I might just take it apart and make socks, cotton socks. Or I don't know. Or like, well, it's enough for a shell. I mean, or a little cardigan. Yeah. Because, and I don't know if I don't remember if I have any more of the yarn, but I don't really like it and I don't wear it because I find it unflattering when it's just flopping open and then you see the backside of the sweater. Mm-hmm. I don't think, so, or I could combine it with another yarn. I could buy some more kabasi and just make a striped sweater, striped t-shirt. If I don't have enough for
I don't know if I would like that in a tee. I have a pair of socks. Actually, I just found them recently. I've been looking for them. They're striped, and they've been long finished, but I discovered that when I tried to wear them one day that one foot is significantly shorter than the other. So I found the yarn, and I stuffed the yarn that I needed to extend the sock with inside of the sock, and I put them somewhere. And they just turned up. They've been lost for a while. And they just turned up, and I thought when I was looking for something else, and like, oh, I need to fix this sock so that I can put these in my drawer. But the fabric of them, I don't think I would like that fabric in a top.
Well, I don't like it I don't like this cardigan, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes good socks, but I don't think I would like that fabric in a top.
Well, maybe I need to.
I don't know. Anyway, that's something to think about for the future.
Start going through my projects and ripping them out.
And I guess the thing that I'm thinking is that maybe I need to get rid of some things because I now have 2 drawers full of sweaters. Yeah, 2 drawers full of sweaters because they're bulky. And I lose track of them. And I'll go a whole season and I'll never wear one of the sweaters that I like because it's down at the bottom of the drawer. So I need a better system, or I need to maybe cull the herd.
Well, I have a lot of things. I actually doubt that we're sitting here having this conversation. I have many things that I probably could just rip out and reknit. So one of the first sweaters I made after I got knitting, I went over, there was like a knit along over at the Fiber Gallery near me, the local yarn shop, and it was called Vonica. Can't think of the designer.
Oh, yeah.
And I made that, but it's way too big. And and it's made out of, okay, this is bad podcasting. What's that? Felted tweed. Is it Rowan felted tweed?
Rowan
felted tweed. It's nice yarn. So I should that one could definitely be ripped out and and then the other one, Kelly, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but remember what got us back into knitting and podcasting eventually was we both did the swirl.
The swirl.
And you wear yours. I wear mine. I have never worn mine.
I know. I think that's like a crime.
I know, but I don't really like it. It's so heavy. Is Madeline and it's like, I don't know, it's like 16 scale. I mean, it's a lot of yarn.
It's a lot of yarn.
And I don't even it's so heavy. I don't like it. So I should, and the sleeves feel weird, and I should just rip that thing out.
So I guess, so the question to think about between, and this was totally off the notes.
I know, this is not.
We just now have this conversation just like on the fly, but what we should think about between now and, I don't know, maybe the next episode or the episode after, but what we should think about is, like, some things are just like, I don't even want the yarn. I'll just like this pink sweater that I made this summer. I'm going to wear it like for a year, or have it, for a year and try to wear it. But if I don't wear it, I'm not going to rip out that saccata.
It's going to go in the...
I'm just glad to have it done, and I'll just bring it to the destash. It would be a cute sweater for someone who really likes pink. Maybe it's a cute sweater on me. I don't know, but I'll give it a year, and see. And then I have other things that I've made that are just, part of it is they're just sitting underneath other things in the drawer and I can't get to them. So I kind of have to decide, it's kind of like the sparking joy thing, do I really like this sweater and I just forget to wear it, or or do I not really need this sweater anymore? Yeah. Do I like the yarn so much that I'll rip it out, or do I just want it to go to someone else who will enjoy it? And then is there something in my closet is there some sweater in my closet or my drawer that like makes me feel guilty because I'm not wearing it, and maybe I should just do something? I mean, there's all sorts of, this would be a good, interesting topic. The emotions that are attached to the clothing and what you do about that.
Just say, I feel guilty enough about many things. I don't want to feel guilty about my unworn sweaters.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not saying that you do, but if you did, like, it would be good to just get rid of it, or get rid of the guilt, or, somehow do. Anyway, just there's all kinds of emotions tied up in stuff like that.
Well, and I'm
that would be really interesting to talk about.
It'd be interesting to talk about too. And again, it's like when you said people are going to be, we're off topic, and people are probably gasping that they. When they heard that, because they didn't realize we actually have notes that we're working from.
Right.
But again, on this off-topic topic, do you remember when my mother gave me pearls for my birthday?
Mm-hmm.
And she'd asked me what I wanted, and it was not pearls. I never asked for pearls. I said, and she said, "Are you interested in pearls?" And I actually was specific, I don't want pearls. I got pearls, but I kind of I hated those pearls. They made me mad every time, and I felt like I had to wear them because we would go to the opera together, and I always had to wear them to the opera, and because I felt guilty about those pearls because I hated them. And as the years have gone by, I actually like them, and
that's good.
My mother was right. Everybody needs a string of pearls, apparently, because I like my pearls. So yeah, all the guilt I had about those pearls that I now, I like them, and I wouldn't part with them for anything. Yeah.
And I think sometimes clothes are the same way. Not every piece of clothing has this kind of emotion attached to it, but I think sometimes clothes are the same way. I have things in my closet that I don't wear for a long time. And then it's like it'll attract my attention again, and then I'll wear it a lot. And it'll be like, oh yeah, I'm really glad I didn't get rid of this because I really like wearing it. And then it'll go back into the closet, and I'll forget about it for a while. And so you don't always know. And it's not like it's not like you need to keep that stuff that you might only wear sometimes. But if you like it, like the sweater my sister got me. She found it at a thrift shop, and it's Angora and wool, I think. And it's a small, tiny little sweater. It's vintage. I don't know how old, but it's vintage. And it has like embroidered flowers all along the yoke, embellished on the knitting. And I love that sweater, but it'll be sometimes a couple years will go by that I won't wear it. And then I'll see it again in the closet, and then I'll wear it, and I just love this sweater. It's so cute and so springy. It just makes me feel happy on a day that like spring is starting, but it's not warm enough not to wear a sweater. We'll have to think about this topic of what to do with sweaters.
Fix it, or what'd you call it?
Fix it or nix it. That means it has to go out the door.
Yeah. Okay, Kelly. Well, I think we've possibly overstayed our welcome. It's time to go.
I was going to say exhausted our topics, but maybe we've exhausted our audience.
Oh my God, you poor people listening to us. Okay. All right, Kelly. We'll say goodbye, and we will talk in 2 weeks.
All right.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. To subscribe to the podcast, visit 2usfiberadventures.com.
Join us on our adventures on Ravelry and Instagram. I am Better in Motion, and Kelly is 100 Projects.
Until next time, we're the 2 U's
doing our part for World Fleece.